Shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Waharakah Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honor to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And this is just another example of the hypocrisy of the so-called white man. Because here it is, when it comes to Jake, they're quick to condemn. That's why the scriptures call them the accuser of our brethren. When it comes to Jake, they're quick to criticize, quick to condemn Jake. And, we don't condone, this gang violence and this madness that Jake be doing in the streets. But there's always context involved, right? Now, you got these guys, Mossad. It says poison toothpaste, prisoners hypnotized to kill. How Mossad, Israel's secret service, has become the world leader in assassins with 800 operations in the last decades. Now, if you didn't know, an assassination is murder, and that is execution without trial and jury. Yeah, these people are going around the world literally just executing people that they don't like. Alright, now if you do that as a Jake, if you go around the world, do you think you could go around the world and have, with poison toothpaste and hypnotize people to kill? Imagine if the Hebrew Israelites were doing this? How Vocab Malone and these guys would react. Imagine if the Hebrew Israelites was doing the exact same thing that the Israeli secret service is doing. We'd be painted as the most evil. We're not even allowed to use the F word. We're not even allowed to use the F word. We're not even allowed to read prophecy out of the scriptures without these people trying to condemn us. Yet these Israelis they're praised as being world-leading assassins, man. It says Israel, a country born in bloodshed, has become the leader in assassinations. Mossad's secret agents killed more people than the agents of any other state since World War II, with some 800 operations in the last 10 years. All right, so you see how these people are operating, and they're not condemned for this. They're praised. All right, now let me give you in a scenario. Let's say the Crips, they be doing assassination and hits, but you think they would do the article and write it in this manner? They're not condemning the Mossad. Here you have that's the recent one. I want to get this one. Go back. It says how Mossad blew it. The gripping story of how Israel's brutally efficient secret service botched that Dubai assassination. And they're just talking about it like it's another, it's cool, they tried to kill someone. This is the kind of media that they get. It's negative. They won't have nothing to say against what these people are doing. Now, what's the most recent one? It says how Mossad executed Iran's nuclear chief. Now, this nuclear chief is a scientist. The man works with nuclear power. America has nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. They all have nuclear weapons and nuclear energy in terms of power production. Now, Iran, there's no evidence that they have nuclear weapons. There's no evidence for that. Okay, even the UN weapons inspectors, they go in there and they inspect them. They say, look, they ain't got no weapons and they don't have a weapons program. Right? They do have a nuclear program, but nuclear program also includes atomic energy. So this dude's a scientist, and they just went and killed this dude. Like, look, it says power to the entire region was cut. So these dudes destroyed infrastructure to an entire region. Now there could be people that needed that electricity, people in hospitals, people, they just cut the power to it. That's an act of terrorism. Imagine if any organization cut the power in a region of London or cut the power in a region of New York, what the what the news would say. It's all hypocrisy, and we got the scriptures coming to show you it's crazy, right? It says, and bomb attack blasted his convoy. So these dudes, that's terroristic. They used a bomb against a convoy carrying a scientist. A bomb attack blasted his convoy before he was dragged from the car and finished off. So they dragged this dude out of the car and executed him. Then 12 assassins melted away. Right? And they're not talking about this in no negative light. When you read it, they're cool with this. This is gangsterism. But you see, let's let the context that some 14th Street Crips or whatever the hell these dudes' name is decided that a bunch of Bloods or whatever were getting a gun shipment in from Mexico, and they thought that they were going to use those guns against them, and they rolled up on them and bombed them, cut the electricity to the area, bombed them, dragged men out of their houses and their cars, executed them in the streets. What do you think the news would have to say about that? Would they be praising it like, oh, they're very efficient? Oh, it's a great assassination. They would be like, look, man, we don't care whether they were getting a gun shipment or not. That's murder. You just went and killed those people. They didn't do nothing to you. But then Mossad and the rest of these Edomites, they can go around killing whoever they want and get praise for it. This is the madness, man. This is the madness that's happening on earth. That's why judgment has to come from a higher power. Because right now you got a bunch of hypocrites running the earth. Right? Job 20:4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short. You see, yeah, is Jake wicked? Yeah, Jake is being wicked. But are you Edomites wicked? Hell to the yes. Yeah, you're wicked. Hell yeah, you're wicked. You Edomites are wicked. You got no business trying to condemn Jake, because you're condemnable. You see, these Edomites like to stand like they have the moral high ground. No, you got the money. You ain't got no moral high ground. You got the money high ground. You control the narrative, but you don't have the moral high ground against Jake, because you're wicked as they come. Right? The triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite, the actor, which is what you are, but for a moment, you're actors. Because you will condemn Jake for doing the same things in the street that you do, but you get praised for it, and Jake gets condemned in the same newspapers. If a driller, this Daily Mail, they ain't got nothing good to say about the drillers. These drillers on the streets of London that shank man's up. Well, they can give it. Oh yeah, well he threatened my life. They could come out with a bag of thing as for the reason why they did what they did. You're still gonna condemn them. But when it comes to Mossad, they're very efficient. Oh, they've done over 800 assassinations. Oh, they bombed a scientist, dragged him out of his car, and executed him. Oh, wow. No condemnation. Just, yeah, that's cool. This is hypocrisy. You got to keep the same energy, man. As we used to say on the islands, right are right and wrong are wrong. You can't be right in one hand and then wrong in the other. It's either right or it's wrong. You got to keep the same energy. If it's murder, then it's murder. If it's not okay to premeditatively and preemptively kill someone in one case, then it's not okay in the other case. You the same guys that, you uphold laws and all this stuff, and you got to bring people into the court system and try them, but then you're running around executing people. Fucking madness, man. This is I see this shit. Shit just gets you angry, man. All right, but I want to get Job 24 for you devils, man. All right, Job 24. This perfectly describes these devils, man. It says, "Why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty? Do they that know Him not see His days?" Right? Because these devils been doing the most, man. They've been doing the most. Like, just look at the madness that these men, they've openly done 800 different assassinations, man. Some remove the landmarks. That's what you Edomites do. Remove landmarks. They violently take away flocks and feed thereof. That's what you've done. They drive away the ass of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth hide themselves together. Behold, as wild asses in the desert go they forth to their work, rising betimes for a prey. The wilderness yielded food for them and for their children. They reap everyone his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked. Right? These devils, they got everybody in a trick bag, man. Working and slaving away while they can live good and then gangsterize the world and do what they want to do with amenity. That's why my man Mark Rich did the biggest financial fraud in American history to this date that's been, admitted. And Bill Clinton gave him a presidential pardon, man. Because that's how it works, man. These devils could do what they want to do. The CIA can do what they want to do. They can run drugs. They can do whatever they want to do. They can sell drugs. They could traffic children. It's all good. It's a joke thing out here. It says, they cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains and embrace the rock for want of shelter. Because a lot of these secret services, anytime someone pops up that challenges them, and like a world leader or someone who's genuinely wants to help their own people, what happens if they can't blackmail them? Which that's one of the jobs of the secret services, to blackmail people. If they can't blackmail them or threaten their family or whatever the case may be, then hey, John Perkins told you what happens. They send in the jackals and they get assassinated. That's how these devils operate, man. When it's all said and done, if they can't get you no other way, they ain't got no problem resorting to the sword, to assassination. And they'll justify it. They'll always be justified, because they're playing judge, jury, and executioner. But what they don't understand is there's a higher power above them. So their error in judgment is going to be held accountable. Right? They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains and embrace the rock for want of shelter. They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge of the poor. That's another thing all these secret services are involved in, all this child trafficking and that around the world. They oversee all that, make sure that everything stays in order, so the elites can get their constant supply of flesh. It says, which make oil within their walls and tread their wine presses and suffer thirst. Men groan from out of the city, and the soul of the wounded crieth out, yet God layeth not folly to them. Like, because basically it's like these devils have been getting away with all this madness they've been doing for hundreds of years. Yeah, murdering and stealing and just getting away with it. Meanwhile, condemning everybody else, giving Jake 55 life sentences. Jake be getting so many life sentences, they got to reincarnate 3-4 times to pay off the time. Meanwhile, these Edomites are falsifying information, starting wars, blowing people up by the millions, and no, it's cool. It just becomes a footnote in history, and we're moving on. These people are the devils, man. They are of those that rebel against the light. That's why they're called secret services, because everything they do is in darkness. They hide in the shadows. They don't want to be in the light. They don't want the truth to come out. Because their works are not in truth. They're about skullduggery. Yeah? They rebel against the light. Who's the light? Yahweh Shai is the light, the truth. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the paths thereof. And that part of the path of light is the rejection of murder. And these dudes love to murder. They love to kill. So they don't want no part of the light, because their way is the way of murder, as we've seen. It is killer scientists, man. Dude went to university and got his degree, and he's working on some science as a scientist, just like any other scientist anywhere in the UK, US. Imagine if Iran just rolled up on some scientist or some professor at Oxford University and blew up man's car and dragged him out the car and executed him. because he was working on some atomics. And they just talk about it like my man ain't got no family or no. You know, notice they don't even now. If it happened to them, yeah, they'd be showing pictures of his mother, and they, he leaves behind 5 children. With this guy's like, yeah, they just killed him. He's an Iranian scientist. Yeah, cool. He's a nuclear scientist. Like, bad man. What the hell? He's devils, man. It says they are those that rebel against the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor abide in the path thereof. The murderer, rising with the light, killeth the poor and needy, and in the night is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and disguiseth his face. See that secret agent shit? In the dark they dig through houses which they had marked for themselves in the daytime. They know not the light. There's these CIAs and these MI5s, MI6s, and these Mossads, these intelligence services, man. In the dark, it says, for the morning is to them even as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in terrors of the shadow of death. He is swift as the waters. Their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholdeth not the way of the vineyards. Drought and heat consume the snow waters, sold off the grave those which have sinned. The womb shall forget him, because judgment is coming. The worm shall feed sweetly on him. He shall not be no more remembered, and wickedness shall be broken as a tree. He evil entreated the barren that beareth not, and doeth not good to the widow. He joyeth also the mighty with his power. He riseth up, and no man is sure of life. Though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. Right? So these devils have been, on a joyride, and it's like the rod of the Lord ain't really been touching them. But the Lord has been watching. It's slow to anger. But the Lord is going to bring that wrath. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all other, and cut off as the tops of the ears of corn. And if it be not so now, who will make me a liar and make my speech nothing worth? So the judgment is coming for these devils, man. Right? Judgment is coming. You do just whack this dude. He's the father of Iran's bomb program. He's shot to death by highly trained assassins. So these dudes can have highly trained assassins just go around killing people. Some gangster shit. Look at this. Anyway, it's how these devils operate. But this same newspaper, I'm sure, they talk about knife crime. They talk about Jake. Let me just type in Daily Mail knife crime. I should have went to look. Look, man, when they're talking about Jake and this knife crime and these drills, they'll be condemning it. Yeah, it's gang violence. All right, they're not talking about it in no good light, man. Anyway, I'm out here, man. Shalom.